Welcome, everybody, to Layman's Word. I am Angel, King of Mediocrity Martinez, joined as always by my co host, the naturally athletic Galaxian, Eddie Nags. Eddie, how are you
Right.
today, sir?
Not feeling too athletic, but I am here chilling, sipping on some whiskey. Can't complain.
Oh, that's nice, sir. I must say, you look like you're on an episode of Casting Couch. You've been a little busy today, haven't you?
I just got this off Craigslist, dude. It was like slightly used. It says it made
Nice.
some appearances on some feature films. Not bad.
Super.
Yeah.
Oh,
They
super.
did advise me to sterilize it before, but I was like, fuck it, it doesn't look too bad.
Nice, nice, nice. That's good. No, hey, I would too. Why not, right? uh, Ladies and gentlemen, today's show is geared around the wonderful feeling of love and what it drives us to do, um, what it helps us to accomplish, and everything in between. We're joined today by Bruce and Grace, a testament of love. Say hello to everybody, Bruce and Grace.
Hello.
Hey, what's up?
A testament of love.
Today we're here to talk about relationships. We're here to talk about specifically long distance relationships, something that I certainly know nothing about. Eddie, I don't know. Do you know anything about long distance relationships?
Yeah, it was actually one with someone from another country. She came in a K1 visa, had 90 days to get married, but just didn't work out.
Really?
You know,
I'm
it
so ashamed
happens
that
like that
nobody taught
I know.
I certainly have never been in a long distance relationship. Like I've lived far from someone. I've had to travel to get to them, but really what is traveling, when they live in the same city as you are? I could not imagine if I couldn't see them at the moment that I wanted to. Right. We certainly have that moment where we just want to see them. And during the early years of my relationships, like this is before technology was as good as it is, and just seeing someone wasn't exactly as easy as it is right now. I mean, we are all connecting from different parts of the world right now, and it's wonderful. Thank you, technology. But technology wasn't as good as it was back in the day. So I imagine that a long distance relationship could be very difficult and very taxing. I'm a selfish individual. I want what I want when I want it. And if I can't have it at that moment, I would drive myself crazy. So kudos to you guys, and thank you so much for coming on and telling us a little bit about your story. Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah, for sure. No
I know.
it's
problem.
pretty
Yeah.
it's pretty dope, man, because not everyone is fortunate enough to have their love of their life just fall on their lap. For instance, my brother married our neighbor, you know
Wow.
and then here you guys
That's
are. Yeah, yeah. See, not everyone's gonna find their soulmate here in Southgate.
It's true, man. It's true. It's a
sometimes
numbers
it's
game.
Inwood, sometimes it's Downey. I get it.
Oh,
Sometimes
Get it, bro. I get
hey,
it.
as
man, I
long
had to.
as long as you don't go west.
Yeah, it's funny that you say that because I ended up having to go kind of west, but I ended up in Redondo Beach. So, I went
Woo.
real west. Like I
You
went
went real
super far
west.
west. That's where I found her. I had
You
to
went
get me a
all the
white girl,
way,
dude. You
bro.
know, I just had to. I had to. Shout out Heather. Love you, babe. Um, so first of all, let's talk about we're talking about traveling. We're talking about having to go long distances, and certainly we've come a long way in our technology that it allows us to travel between places within a matter of hours. Just a little fun fact, if you guys didn't know, did you guys know that the first voyage across America, Lewis and Clark, did you guys know that took almost 2 weeks?
Damn.
2 freaking weeks, 8,000 miles, took 2 weeks to get here from coast to coast. Fun
Wow.
fact: would anybody happen to know when that voyage took off? Very recently. It happened to be May 14th, 1804. It just happened to.
Bro,
So
happy
we're talking about
birthday.
distance. I happened to find that fact and I found it interesting, so I had to bring it up. But think about that: 2 freaking weeks to go from coast to coast. Now it'll take a matter of hours. Maybe, maybe if you're if on a plane, it's only gonna take you a couple of hours to get there. So it's wild. It's wild. So let me start by asking you this question. Let's go back to the basics here. How did you two meet? Are you guys from the same place and eventually split? Or did you guys just happen to meet from two different places? How did you two kids happen to run into each other?
Okay, this is gonna be a different story from both of our sides because
that's what we like here. That's good.
Okay, great.
It's all about perspective, dude. So let's hear it.
From my perspective, it happened like this. We were in Vegas for my birthday, and we're going out, we're having fun, and then that's when I meet this girl, right?
Okay.
I meet this girl, and it wasn't a normal meeting. It was more of me waking up to her talking.
Okay.
What's happening? What?
Where am I?
Angelic voice I hear. Okay, great. So I wake up in our hotel room on the chair, and she's coming in through the door. And I'm like, whoa, who is that? So me, naturally, I say nothing. Actually, I say nothing. I'm just staring at her. I'm like, whoa, this girl's really pretty. And she just has her coffee in hand, so bubbly and trying to talk to everybody. She's like, oh, hey, so-and-so, and I'm here, just meeting my sister, blah, blah, blah. And then I'm like, whoa, and I just can't stop staring at her. But I guess in that whole ruckus, she said hi to me or didn't say hi to me, but I just forgot. And that's the way I remember meeting her that first time that I saw her.
Okay.
Remember meeting her, waking up, hungover, slept on a chair, my back is hurting, and me just hearing this voice talking. And
so before I let you tell your side of the story, before I let you tell your part of this encounter, I might understand right now, Willis, that you probably did meet her the night before and just don't remember.
Yes,
is that what I'm gathering right now? You probably did meet her the night before and you just don't remember. But what you do remember and recall is hearing her voice the following morning, and just kind of hopelessly falling in love with this creature that is gracing your presence at that moment.
Yeah, gotcha. And gracing is a great way to put it, because
it's a great word. It's a great word.
Yeah.
That being said,
that's basically. I think that's you hit the head on the nail right there.
All right. No, that's good. That's good. I love a good Vegas story. And this is definitely one for the books. Side of the story, yeah. That's for sure. Okay, now let's go ahead and turn it over. Let's see what Grace's account of this is. What do you remember about it?
Well, going to that night or that day, because it was in the morning, I had just gone to that room to go pick up my sister that was there, and I was just waiting on her, right? And I was just chit-chatting with everybody because it was awkward. It was a room full of men, and I was just there to pick up my sister with one of my friends. And I was like, oh, let's just be friends with everybody. So I honestly, 100% don't remember him at all.
Oh, that's great. Oh, that's so great.
I like the boy.
Yeah,
How funny.
One time that I do, my first time of meeting him was at the Broadway bar in LA. That was the first time that I met him, because my sister called me and she was like, hey, Grace, come, we're all going to meet up at this bar. It's going to be fun. And mind you, I was already at another party with some other friends. I was like, no, I'm not going to go. I'm not going
anywhere.
I'm in the Valley, so I'm somewhere in San Fernando Valley, and I think you want me to drive to downtown LA. I was like, no. But I ended up getting an Uber, and I went to the Broadway.
Yeah.
And he was in the line.
We were in line, yeah.
And I get out of the Uber, and I'm like, hey, where are you guys? And my sister's like, oh, they're in the line. And he was there.
Yeah.
And I say a stupid joke, right? Because I'm trying to break the ice. Because I just met these three dudes. Let's just have fun. No one laughs at my stupid joke. Let me just get into the bar, you know?
Oh, that's clutch. There we go.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
That's
And
what's
then,
up. Okay.
And then once we get into the bar, I take a shot, and then we go upstairs, and then I'm in line to get another drink, and he pops up again.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, hey, how are you? So we're one-on-one, right? And then he starts talking.
Yes, correct.
There
That
Because I needed that courage to talk to her. Because in Vegas it ran out. It was out of my system already. So
correct.
You were
Correct.
overloaded from the day before.
but yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's just me. I mean, back then when I met her, I wasn't really that type of outgoing where I would talk to just anybody. You know what I mean? I think
Right.
even to this day I'm kind of like that. So that's how I kind of force myself to kind of break that cycle of me not having to talk to somebody new or
Right.
not meeting new people. You know what I mean? And that's when it
I
started with
hear
her.
you.
Yeah.
That is such an interesting story that you guys have two completely different stories of how you met.
Yeah.
And
then my
how
story
how
came
amazing
like a
is it?
year before hers? So it was like a year after almost that I
That's
met her at the Broadway bar.
it is, and it's just funny. It comes down to, I mean, who's to say, right? Like who's to say that eventually, through well, mutual friends, that you would have eventually met at a different occasion or whatnot. But how serendipitous is it that you just decided to leave your party and leave your friends to go hang out with your sister, and kind of everything just happens from there on one
Yeah.
decision. There's one decision you made,
true.
and it all
It's
happened from there. So that's amazing. That's pretty cool.
So
I'm
in
not
the
gonna lie.
alternate universe, they're not together. She stayed at that
Oh,
party.
exactly. She stayed at the
both
party.
happened.
It
They
never
got what it-
happened.
that party. Yeah.
Well, I would have looked stupid with myself in the corner. That's all that happened.
Would have been like just every other weekend.
Yeah, just every other week. Exactly. It would have been like every other weekend for me.
Well, I'm not trying to get my boy's side, but I was there for both, and they.
Yeah.
I guess Willis met Grace in Vegas, and then Grace met Willis at Broadway bar.
Yeah.
It happens like that though, man. It does happen like that. Like, Heather always jokes around because we met at a bar, not at a bar. We met, working at a restaurant. That's how we met. And I remember very vividly the day that I met her, or at least the day that I introduced myself to her, because we worked together. And it was not like that for her. Like, she remembers knowing of me and me being around, but not really like clean cut like the day that we met. And it's just funny how you account for things differently,
Yeah.
depending on because you can easily remember the things that people say easily. You can easily forget. Sorry, you can easily forget the things that people say, but it's really hard to forget how they make you feel. It's really hard. So people have an impact sometimes really early on, and it's all said and done. Maybe not love at first sight, but at first experience, certainly there's something to that, because you do feel a genuine energy and a genuine vibe from a person before you decide to even entertain the idea of going out with them. Because I'm sure that you guys have been in bar settings and situations where there's a person that's approached you and you're just like, no, thank you, see you later.
Yeah.
Certainly more Grace than Willis, I'm sure.
Hey, man.
I'm
not gonna
sure.
deny that. You're right, man.
Yeah, but it takes a certain combination of that to allow yourself to open up, and I think it's wonderful. That's great. That's great for you guys. That's awesome.
Hey, man, that's cute and all, but just call it for what it is. Y'all some lame ass fools, and the options ran out.
Oh, that's cold, man. That is
Hey,
so cold.
Hey, takes one to know one, bro. I'm the only one in an
It's
empty
so
place.
cold.
Why do you think I'm hanging out with them, dude?
Okay, so now we know how you met, right? Clearly, you guys went through, puppy love stage. You guys were, seeing one another. How close or far from each other were you when your relationship began?
Okay. Well, when we met at the Broadway bar, she was actually coming in from Winton, which is next to Modesto.
Yeah, so the
That's where
Central
she had it.
Valley. It's like Central
wow.
Yeah.
Central Cal. Yeah.
Okay,
Central
okay.
Valley. Yeah.
4 hours away
It's
from
like
LA.
I was
4
gonna
to
say
5 hours.
quite drive. Okay.
Yeah. So that's
so
where
this-
she had. Yeah, that's where she had her life set up and everything already.
So this started as long distance. This
Yes.
began
Yeah.
that way.
Yeah.
Interesting. That definitely did not know that. So that's crazy. That's
Yeah.
wild. So tell me, you guys are at this Broadway bar. You guys are having a good time, right? I'm sure you guys decided to meet up or see each other again. How did you guys set that up?
Yeah.
How did that come to be?
Okay, wait, hold on. Quick story. Right after the Broadway bar. So we're walking out, right? In order for me to set anything else up with her, I need to get her number.
Get them digits.
Exactly. So we're going around, we're going out of the club, whatever. And obviously we've both been drinking. So we walk out, whatever, we're like, oh, we're saying bye. Oh, and I'm like, hey, is it cool if I get your number? You know, when you could do this again. And she's like, well, I don't know, maybe, but okay, it's fine. Like, hell yeah. And I look back and I see my brother and I see my other friend. I'm like, yeah, that's right. And she's like, oh, you know what? What's my number again? I'm like, oh.
No.
Moment, I really forgot my phone number, my number that I've had since high school, and I don't know why I forget. My inner self thinks, "Oh, Grace, no, this guy is gonna make you settle down." And I'm like, "But I want to," and then like my inner self's like, "No, Grace."
So then I'm looking back and out there laughing at me, and then she's giving me a number. I'm like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm not gonna look stupid. I'm calling that shit right now. So I called it on the spot.
Yes, dude. Yes. Oh, yes.
And
Did it
then,
work?
lo
It
and behold, worked.
Oh, nice.
Worked. And I was like, oh man, thank you, God.
It wasn't intentional. It was just like I literally
Yeah.
forgot. Like I really
So
forgot.
that was
Sometimes-
And then there, from there, I mean,
Sometimes when we're really excited for something, we tend to lose our train of thought. So you were probably just really excited that he was
that's
asking
like-
for your number.
I heard
Right.
that's it.
And if that wasn't the case, let's go with that because that's awesome,
Go
right?
with that.
It sounds better. Use that, Grace.
Oh man,
excited. Yeah.
so excited. So tell me, you got the digits now, right? You got
Yeah.
the digits. We're in, right? You're in the club,
Yeah.
right? We're
Oh,
there.
yeah. I
Excellent.
got the digit.
How
I'm
long?
about to set something up.
How long did you wait to reach out? How long?
How long do you think I waited?
Probably minutes.
12 hours.
Probably minutes. Immediately? Did you
No.
try to text her right away, bro?
I did not.
Damn. That
I had
Oh,
to break
okay.
out the rule, man. I had to break the rule out.
He's like a girl.
Oh, okay.
had-
All right.
I had
I'm
to
not a
wait
girl,
3
man. I don't know what's the
days. I
rule.
had to wait those 3 days. I had to wait those 3 days.
That's
She made
nice.
me sweat. I had to make her sweat. I had to make her sweat, man.
Oh, there it is. She did kind of play you like that, right? She's like, I don't know, right? Like she did kind of do that one.
And she also claimed not to have met him in Vegas. So you know what?
Oh, damn! She hit you with a
So-
nice to meet you
Damn,
that
Grace,
night.
don't
Oh
you-
man!
don't you wish you-
Ooh, you gonna
Grace
get
is
it?
getting tagged. Don't you wish you would have brought a friend now,
so,
Grace?
yeah, I waited those 3 days.
Hey, this
But
is kind of a
actually,
one-sided
what I
affair
said-
right now, right?
To me, it wasn't more the rule. It was just me just being nervous.
Sure.
I was really nervous, and I'm like, oh, well, how do I do this? What do I say? I don't want to look stupid. I was doing like all types of like rough drafts on my texting. I'm like, oh no. I went through that whole thing. You know how it is. When you're
Yes,
like-
yes, I do. Yes, I do. Courting is difficult.
Yeah,
know?
you don't want to start the wrong way. So yeah.
I mean, I am a person that can honestly say like I don't have game because I don't necessarily approach situations like that with intent, right? Like I'm just
Yeah.
me, unapologetically me, and things just kind of happen for me. But the second that I start thinking that there's something like romantic to be had, I feel like I don't know if you guys are fans of The Office, but I've immediately become date Mike. Like I'm just like, trying too hard and doing too much. So
Uh,
yeah, it's just all bad for me. All bad. All bad. So again,
yeah,
shout
yeah.
out
Well,
Heather
yeah,
for
that's
selecting me. Shout out, babe. All right, so all right, so we got the number right. You waited the 3 days. You hit her up. What did you plan? What did you guys plan for your first
um,
date?
well, there
4 hours
wasn't
away.
really, there's no really planning
There was no
because
planning.
she was only down here for that weekend.
Okay.
And then she went back up to her normal life,
Right.
in Central Valley.
Yeah, so when he messaged me, I was working.
Yeah.
I remember I was at work and I was like, okay, well, this is cool. He reached out, but I'm working and I'm back up here, so
Yeah.
let's keep like a friendship. You
Yeah,
know, let's be
sure.
friends.
That's
So
nice. All right.
that's what I kind of first leaned into because when I met him, I really wasn't looking for a relationship.
Yeah.
Cause I was like, whatever. It is what it is. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Like I wasn't like, I need to find my boyfriend, my husband. Like that's not me,
Right.
Yeah. And then I was like, let's be cool. Let's be friends.
True. No, I mean that's actually the way we both felt. We were like, you know what? Let's see what happens. Let's we'll start as a friendship, I guess, and we'll see how it evolves. And I mean, little by little, it kept progressing. And here and there, I would text her maybe every other day or every 2 days, and little by little, it was like okay, every day, and little by little. And also from her side, she would also little by little start texting me back or initiate the texting.
I think that really did help us because we really got to know each other.
Yeah.
Okay.
In depth, further in, like in depth, rather than just the superficiality that I've experienced or I've seen others have, and myself included. Let's not, say that. And once I met him and we were able to create this friendship before anything else, it was really nice.
Yeah, it was refreshing and something I had never experienced before. Every girl that I had ever met was like next door. You know what I mean?
Or in Southgate.
Well, that to me was my map back then. You know what I mean?
Of course. Yeah, absolutely.
And it was refreshing for me and something new. And at some point I was like, you know what? I'm kind of just gonna go with it. I'm just gonna go with it and let's see what happens. And here we are.
Yeah.
That's amazing because I mean you hear stories all the time like with like catfish, right? Like catfishing, right? You hear all these stories that people fell in love with each other simply through sending messages back and forth and really getting to know each other intimately and possibly not really knowing who's on the other side of the keyboard, and you see pictures and things like that, but you never really knew who was on the other side. In your guys' case, you guys met at least once or technically twice, right? And you guys met beforehand. What? All right, 1.5. I like that. 1.5. I like that. And then you're able to build this relationship, like you said, and really get emotionally bond, and that's beautiful. That's amazing. I love that. That's great. That's great. All right, cool. That's pretty cool, guys. I'm not gonna lie. So I gotta know if all we did was text and communicate to each other that way, how long did that go on? How long did that go on before you guys actually set up a meeting?
Wow.
It was like
our
first date was on Valentine's Day.
Our
and
first
we met
date
in
was
October.
on Valentine's Day.
We met ends of October. So
3 months maybe, right? So wait, no. Yeah, about 3.5.
4 months. Yeah.
3-4 months.
Okay.
Yeah. That we just messaged and got to know each other.
Yeah.
And then he was like, hey, let's go on a date. And then I was like, okay.
She's like, yeah, I'm gonna be in town, in February. And I was like, oh, perfect, my birthday. And then even better, she's like, oh yeah, around Valentine's weekend. I'm like, even better, we can make this on Valentine's Day.
You had it, bro. She turned the table on you, bro. Valentine's Day, she locked you down.
I was gonna say that. It's like this is like rom-com movie type of story. You know what I mean? Like
Uh,
it just is. It just is for you guys to have like your first date on Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? After 3 months of not seeing each other, this is fucking romantic.
I
Damn it.
Well, I mean,
I gotta put out a warning.
because, like, I fell on our first date. Like, I ate shit on our first date. Like, no.
Total rom-com.
Dude.
I got
It was like so embarrassing.
Yeah.
quick disclaimer: if you're watching this and you're diabetic, don't watch it because this might be too sweet. It might just end you. Where's my drums?
Also, if you're,
Oh, what happened? What
this
happened?
ain't you, this is gonna be cheesy.
Hey, there it is. Dude, I love it. I love it. That's great. So 3 months, you guys finally set up a date. You meet down here, right? Because she came down.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
So after your first date, obviously it went well.
Yeah. Well, like she said earlier, it didn't start so well because we were both nervous.
We were both nervous.
You know, and we were in that awkward stage, like, how do I do this? And
Yeah.
how do I hold her hand? Do what? You know what I do? You know, obviously
Right.
during the texting and calling,
Sure.
we were kind of getting to know each other, and so when we first met again after 3 months of not seeing each other, for me at least, it was like, I don't know what to do. Am I supposed to
Right.
like hug her? What am I supposed to do? You know what I mean?
Right.
So and then and her saying, like she said, right almost in the beginning of us going to our date, she falls and she falls on her face off of the curb, and it's her scar and everything.
Bleeding. Yeah,
She was bleeding, and the way she got up, and she was like a soldier. She was like, "Woo, we're good. We're okay. Let's go. We're doing this." And that
we're
just
gonna have a fucking date.
Yeah,
we're
that-
gonna do this.
it just broke all the ice, man.
Yeah,
It broke all the ice,
Right.
and from there it was like, oh yes, I can let this go. Everything, all the awkwardness in that moment, I guess, was just let out from both of us.
Oh, that's great. No,
And
that's
then
great.
We had a good day. I thought we had a great day.
We did have a good date, and
It was hot as fuck, but
it was a really hot day.
And
but
I picked the rooftop. We were fucking sweating like a motherfucker.
Yeah.
So let me ask you, Grace.
I mean, but it went well though. I thought it went well.
So let me ask you, Grace. Would you say you fell twice that day?
Oh.
Oh my
Where are
god.
the drums at? Ka-dunks. There it is. There it is. Oh,
Yeah.
hey, Eddie, sir, you're punny, bro. You're
No,
punny.
thanks.
I gotta give that
Thanks,
to you.
man.
I love it. Your
That's what I'm-
dad joke game. Your dad joke game.
I got one.
Unparalleled, my friend.
I got one. I got
Hit
one.
it.
I got a dad joke
Hit
for you
it.
guys, real quick. We're gonna
Shoot it.
sidetrack real quick, but all right. What's made out of leather and sounds like a sneeze?
Sneaker? No.
I give up.
A shoe. Let's keep the show rolling.
All right.
Okay.
Top
Oh,
drawer,
yeah, that
buddy. Top
was
drawer.
You like that?
Keep that
Brilliant.
one for the 8th, baby.
Absolutely brilliant.
Absolute magic.
What class, really?
Alright.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get back on track here. Let's get back on track because we can easily fall off.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So
I
first
get you.
date went well. First date went well. I'm assuming that obviously at some point you had to go back home. Right? You had to part ways.
Yeah.
How often at that point, now that you've seen each other for the first time, did you guys decide that you wanted to make it more frequent to see each other? How did that develop? How often would you guys see one another after that point?
Well, yeah, after that first day, like I said, when all that awkwardness went away, I thought for me, I got really comfortable with her. So for me, it was like, I want to keep seeing her. I want to keep seeing her as much as I can. And
Sure.
I think we started talking about it like, hey, when are you going to come visit me, or should I go visit you? Maybe soon after, right? Soon
Mhm.
after our first date, maybe like a couple of days, maybe a week after. and we're like, hey, how can we, see each other and more often? And little by little, we started just setting up our days according to our weekends. So I would try to go every 2 weeks.
Okay.
Weeks.
Every 2 to 3 weeks.
Yeah, I would say more 3
for
weeks.
the weekend.
Yeah.
From Friday and then come back Sunday night
Mm-hmm.
because I had to work on Monday.
Mm-hmm.
Or if I didn't have to work on Monday, I would stay till Sunday and then come back on Monday morning.
Yeah,
Okay.
because
All right.
I knew how he lived, but
Yeah.
he needed to know, like, if we were really gonna try a relationship, he needed to know how I lived, like who I was.
Yeah.
And
Right.
I was at the stage that you really need to know. You can't only like me the going out Grace. You need
Yeah.
to know me as a regular person.
True.
My everyday. So I was like, you need to come and see how I live, how I like to live before you even consider moving forward.
Yeah.
Because what if you don't like who I am on a
Right.
regular basis? Let's be honest,
Or who
And-
you are around your friends, or who you are at work, or right. Understood.
Yeah.
But please go on. Tell me more.
So yeah, we would go every 2 to 3 weeks. Obviously we talked as much as we could, but for me it was more like, damn, I want to keep seeing her. You know what I mean?
Sorry.
Because for
Right.
me, I'm the type of person that likes the person to person. I'm not really the conversation type on the phone or maybe on the text, but still I prefer the face to face
Right.
and the little things that like how I look at you or how she's looking at me or how she tells me something in the tone of voice. For me it's always
Yeah.
the person to person, face to face thing. So I just wanted more because that's how I get to know people.
Yeah, for sure. No, I
Yeah,
can definitely
that's
subscribe
different.
to that.
Yeah, so it was a little difficult for us doing that in the first year that we actually started talking to each other. Mind you,
That's
we weren't official yet.
Mhm.
well, yeah. I mean, I can definitely say that in the relationship that I'm in now, it certainly didn't start with any type of exclusivity. It wasn't that. But both of us had gotten out of some relationships at the time, and the timing wasn't right. So we decided to wait because we just didn't want to fall back into something without giving ourselves time to be independent and
Yeah.
and really just kind of be ourselves for a while, and we did. But I have to be honest with you that in that time, there was a moment where immediately I'm like, I don't want to be available to anyone else, and I kind of like it if you answered my call, like when I call you. So can we drop that, and can we just be us? So it did eventually come. I always talk about the fact that there was never really a day where I said, hey, do you want to be my girlfriend? But it was definitely a day where I was like, can I change my number now? Like, can we just be exclusive in that, right? Like when you call me, I'll be here type deal. And so it was
Yeah.
it was a little different, but there was definitely that moment of like, this is what I want, and this is what I want to move forward with, and this is what I want to do. But anyway, let me get back to you guys. Enough about me. No one wants to hear about me. Let's talk about you guys. So clearly, obviously, you guys are far apart. You're doing the best you can
Yeah.
to see each other every 2 or 3 weeks. How long did that go on? Where you guys were away from each other like that? How long was that?
Like 2 years?
2 years, maybe 2.5 years.
2.5 years? Yeah, about 2.5 years, I would say.
Goodness.
This whole back and forth thing, yeah.
Yeah. 2.5 years.
Wow, 2 years.
Yeah. 2 years of just seeing her.
Dude, that's an immense amount of time. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is an immense amount of time. So for 2 years, and how long ago would you say that was? Give me a timeline. How long ago did you guys' relationship begin?
2.5 years ago.
No.
Yeah.
When we started?
No, we started 5 years ago.
Yeah, 5 years ago.
But-
It's 5
Got
years and 2 months, right?
But within that time, we were still long distance for a certain amount of
Yeah.
time. And then I moved to LA for like 6 months.
And that's when I
Okay.
really got to see.
And that's when we
On a regular
Yeah,
basis.
we like for 6 months we were like, okay, I'm gonna live in LA with my
Yeah.
sister. I was with my sister at the time, and
Okay.
I was doing my thing, and we saw each other almost every weekend. And
Okay.
we would see each other like during the week when he wasn't busy, or
Yeah.
if there was too much traffic, we were like, it's cool, But we would have like lunch. We would be able to like just, hey, I need
Yeah.
to see you. Let's let's drive an hour to each other and we can see each other, right? Because of LA
Okay.
traffic.
Yeah, for sure.
And then after those 6 months, I was like, I got accepted into a school up north, and we were like, look, I told him I'm gonna move to San Francisco because I've been offered this opportunity.
Yeah.
Either I stay in LA and I acquire a lot of debt, or I move to San Francisco and I get my grad school paid for. And I was like,
that's a no-brainer.
I was like,
I mean, for
what
me,
do you want to do? I told him, like, I really liked him. I really liked him.
Sure.
I think we just meshed really well together. It's never been this easy. Like, when my mother would tell me that when you meet the right person, it's just easy. Yeah. And I never knew what that meant or was until I met him.
Yeah, I mean, for both of us. I think for both of us, you know?
And I was like, but I always gave him that option. Like, it's not like, you know, I got this opportunity. You're going with me. Let's do this now. No, it's like, look, dude.
It's
like,
his life too. Yeah.
Exactly. Yes. Like, we're two individuals. What are you looking into? What am I looking into? If I have to move to SF, then it's cool. You stay. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, but see, at that point, I was like, look, we did the long distance for 2 years.
Yeah. I don't want to do it.
I'm not doing that again.
Yeah.
I wasn't doing that again because I was scared that if we do that again or that amount of time, that I was gonna lose her. You know what I mean? Because it takes your toll. It takes a toll on you. You know, this long distance. See somebody face to face, especially somebody that you like so much, and that you just want to be around. It's really taxing on your mind state. So, for me, I was like, you know what? I mean, I have all my friends, my family here in LA, but I felt that I needed to make that decision to be like, you know, we're in this together, and I'm gonna move with you, because this was an opportunity basically of a lifetime for her. Right. So, you know, and I want to be supportive, and for me, I felt that I was more flexible to change my plans of what I was doing, and I just felt like I needed to make that decision, and I did, and I don't regret it at all. Never.
Good for you.
I think it was the best thing, not just for our relationship, for me and myself as a person. It made me mature more as a person. It just, because I'm away from all my friends and family right now, and I have her for support, and I don't know. I just feel like it really made me grow up as a man, you know.
That's great, dude. That's great, because oftentimes, you know, we're faced with decisions, and you know, life can take, the fork in the road can go any which way, right? And the road less traveled might not be so alluring, but for some of us who decide to take that brave step in that direction, it can be very beneficial. So super happy for you guys that you guys went that route, and you made that decision for yourself. That's great, to be each other's support system and to continue to, you know, grow as people and then grow in your relationship. That's just a beautiful thing. You know, to your point earlier that you made about Grace, about it being easy, that's phenomenal. I think that's great, because there are so many people out there who have to work tirelessly to maintain their relationship, and they have to overcompensate because of some of the areas of their own personality that don't exactly, you know, go over too well. So to hear that's great. That's amazing, and I love that. That's really awesome of you guys. But that's cool, man. Let's talk about the move. Let's talk about the move. So he's offered to move with you. He's offered to come over. What? How did that make you feel when he put that on the table and said, "Hey, let's do this. I want to come with"?
Well, if he remembers, we were just hanging out in his room. Yeah. We were just hanging out in his room when I told him what I had just gotten an email about, you know, and I told him, like, hey, this is what's going on, And when he said that he was willing to move, it really made me feel good, because I didn't think his response was going to be that. And I had prepared myself for that not to be the answer that he was going to give me.
For a rejection.
I was like, well, yeah, and it's fine. Like, the way I saw it was like, dude, you need to do you. Because at the end of the day, if it doesn't work out, you're left by yourself. And you cannot depend on anybody. And it goes for both of us, right?
Correct.
It goes for
Correct.
both of us. Because we are not married, we don't have kids, so there's nothing really
True.
uniting us besides our love or our like of each other. So I was like, I'm gonna do it regardless. But when he told me that he's willing to be there and support me, I was like, wow, this is an amazing human. And it just, as corny as it sounds, it really made me fall in love with him even more. Like, for him to say that to me, like, it was like, wow, this guy is really in this with me and believes in me. And I don't know, it just made that much of a difference for me, at least, in our relationship,
Yeah.
But
At that point, I had already known, like, I was already in my feelings with her. Like, my feelings towards her were very strong already. So I was already willing to do basically what I needed to do. You know what I mean? I was in there. I was in there for the long haul, basically.
That's amazing. Yeah, selflessness is a key factor in relationships. We talk about compromise, and that's a key element to a lot of relationships. And being able to say, hey, you know what, this is your ride right now. This is your turn. Like, let me jump on this with you. Let's go. I'm here for you. I'm supporting you. Like, that's amazing. That's really great. And I'm glad that it's still working. So let me ask you this question, guys. How long have you guys been living together now up north? How long have we been living together now?
2 years.
It's been
two almost 3 years, no?
2 years.
2 years.
In August. No, in August it's gonna be 2 years.
In August it's gonna be.
Chuyaso, can I get that
clap? I'll be in law school 2 years. Yeah.
Dude, I have
2 years.
I have shirts that I bought 2 years ago that I don't like anymore.
Full disclaimer, just so everybody knows, Layman's Word is filmed in front of a live studio audience. So thank you for that.
Mind you, those years have not been without difficulty. I want to put it out there. I don't want you guys to think that this is a fairy tale and there has been no trouble. There's
I'm gonna be honest with you guys. That was it's in my line of questioning. I was gonna get there, but you brought it up first. So let's hear it. What was difficult? What was? Paint the picture for me. What was the hardest time that you guys went through in your relationship when you were apart? I'm sure that you guys had your difficulties when you guys first moved in together. I'm positive that maybe your lifestyles were a little bit differently, like cleaning habits and things like that. Like that, I can understand, definitely. But what was the most difficult part about being apart, and how did you guys work through that?
Well, our biggest problem while we were apart was the communication part. Because we both have different ideas of communicating.
Okay.
For me, as a guy, it's more like, what's up? and that what's up is like telling you everything, right?
Yeah.
Well,
how are you?
Her,
how is everything?
Like, and then, okay, and then. But I'm like, oh, you want more? Like, I don't know what else to get. I wasn't used to really communicating more to somebody who wasn't either my family or somebody who was really close to me. And I think that kind of, that was really difficult for both of us, I think, because she communication, which is, it's understandable. I mean, you want more from your partner. You want to communicate more with your.
Yeah, like there was a moment when I personally thought that this was not going to work for me.
Yeah.
Like this was not it. I already told her, I had messaged him. I was like, you know what, this isn't working out for me. I think it's over. Like, let's just be cool, because he would go out. Like I have no problem him going out with his buddies, having a great time. But just tell me when you got home. Let me know that you got home safe. Let me know that you're cool. One message. That's all I asked from him. Like I didn't ask him to call me and stay an hour on the phone with me. No, nothing like that.
Right. Yeah, sure.
And
Sure.
that's where I
Hey.
had difficulty.
Hey,
That's
Grace.
where I had the difficulty.
I'd like to apologize for some of those nights I might have been influencing him.
You see,
You know?
and exactly. I was kind
with
of
the
new to
boys,
that.
put your phone away. No, I was kidding.
You see, it wasn't just me.
Oh,
I got you, Bruce.
Yeah,
it's true
see,
though. It's true. It's true.
That's where that difficulty came from because me, I was never, even before I met her, really into relationships. You know, my longest relationship was a month
Pimp.
before I had met her. So I was kind of new to this whole thing, and her telling me that, I was like, for what? What? I just call you in the morning or text you in the morning. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I'm out there, you know, doing hood rat thing, you know, and
Just trying to do hood rat stuff with my friend.
just turn up. But
Yeah.
I had to get used to I have a partner, I have somebody who is either
Who
worried
cares about you?
or wants to know where I'm at, and
Yeah.
that
And
kind
it's
of it took learning for me to do, you know.
and I can subscribe to the fact that it's less about, wanting to know where you are
Yeah,
and more about wanting to know that you're okay.
yeah.
Wanting to
That's
make
what
sure that you're
that's what it took.
alive and
Yeah, that's
safe.
what I had to learn.
So that's good on you for eventually coming to that realization and
Yeah.
making that happen. Good on you. That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. But all right. So those were the difficulties of being apart. What were some of the difficulties of finally being together and being in the same space and being in the same area? What were some adjustments that you guys had to get through? Because previously you guys hung out, you guys went to places, you guys were here, but now we're talking about that's it. We're in the same place, morning, noon, and night,
Yeah.
every single day. I'm seeing you. So there had to be some difficulties to start that up. Tell me a little bit about that transition.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, it's hard to live with yourself in a confined space to begin with, and then living with somebody else, it just makes it that much harder. And you both have different way of doing things. So you both have a perception of, okay, this thing has to be done this way, or I like things done this way.
Right.
So that's one of the things we actually had a problem with. I would say in the beginning when we started living together, especially for me, because I'm a very particular person of how I like things. For me.
Yeah, that, and also I think we go back to communication because sometimes communication over the phone is different than communication in person. There's a way to talk to people, so you need to know how to talk to people, especially your partner, and that's something that he and I had a discussion about because there's no reason for us to yell at each other. There's no reason for us to use foul language with each other when we're trying to get a point across. So we should be the nicest to each other, not the meanest. So it's just I feel like a lot of people forget to be nice to their partner
to one another.
Exactly, and that's what causes a huge argument between us. So I was like, just when there's something wrong, don't let it brew. Just Grace. Let's sit down. Let's talk. Let's just talk.
Yeah.
I've got a lot on my mind right now. Right. Yeah. No, that's good. That's good because people deal with negativity throughout their entire day, from complete strangers, just in traffic. There are a limitless amount of things that could happen to you throughout your entire day, and how you choose to let those things affect you is entirely up to you. But when you get home. Somebody taught me, and it's amazing. We're not responsible for our first thought. We are not. The first thing that comes to your mind when something happens to you, it's just innate. It's natural. But you are responsible for your second thought and how you react from then on. So always, any situation that you're ever a part of, take a breath. You would be surprised how much stress can be relieved from just taking a breath. Take a breath before you engage and really cool yourself off. Because tempers can flare. You're absolutely right. Living that close to someone else, things can fly off the handle real quick. And I happen to know that one of the biggest reasons why most people end up divorcing or separating, it's because of finances. Finances ends up being like the biggest reason why people end up splitting up, because they don't agree on their finances. They're not honest about their finances, and so that's a big communication. That's really big to open up first on, is that part of that communication is just to be honest with each other about that. So it sounds like you guys have got it. It sounds like you guys are doing really, really well up there. It sounds like you guys have figured out the formula, and it's doing great for you guys. That's awesome, and I'm truly, truly, truly happy to hear that from you guys. I personally met you guys. I want to say it was like Coachella 2015. I think was when I really first met you guys, and I met you guys as a tandem, I believe.
17.
It was 17.
It was 17.
17.
Was it?
Yeah.
So 2017. Sorry. Got you. So 2017 was the first time I met you guys, and I have to be honest. There was a Vegas trip after that where I got to experience Willis on the phone with Grace, checking in on just checking in on how her final went, and how her how she did on a test or something like that, and just this sheer positivity, the encouragement that was coming from you was very heartfelt, and you could just tell that you really cared, what that was about, and it was refreshing to hear. It was refreshing to hear you guys. I didn't get to hear her side of the story, right? It's not like you had her on speakerphone, but you were talking to her, and the way that you were engaging with her, I'm like, these people get it. Like, they just get it.
Yeah.
They understand it. They understand each other. They're on the same page, probably working on the same goals. So good on you guys. I'm glad that you guys found the formula. I wish you many, many, many years of success, and I hope that you guys, I hope that one day you guys end up back down here. But I'm not gonna hate you if you stay up there. I heard it's beautiful.
Well, that's the plan. I mean, you never know. That's the plan. But you never know.
So what tips, just really quickly, because I know that we're gonna have to wrap it up soon. What tips would you offer anyone who's entertaining the idea of going into a long distance relationship? What tips would you give them? Anybody that's thinking about it, of all our, let me check the count here, of all our 2 viewers, what would you tell them to do if they're thinking about having a long distance relationship?
Communication is key, and just be open. Be open about it. Just be open about what can happen. Be open about it.
Very nice. Very nice.
And if it doesn't work, then it doesn't work. But you tried. Just try. Basically, just try, and then communication is obviously the biggest key, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, can I throw in there a piece of advice too, just based off of the things that you guys told me too? Can I throw in there? Don't be a dick. Don't be
that is
dick.
something
that
we have discussed as well.
That's actually just as important. To be honest.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Is that written?
Yeah.
Is that written on the wall behind you there? Is that?
That's a reminder for Willis. This is Willis. Remember.
It's a hashtag saved on his phone.
Because when he is, I'm just like, I can't deal with you right now. I love you. I'll see you in a couple minutes. And I just let him be. Because, there are moments that people just need to be. And you need to let them be. And it's just like, it's okay.
You're right.
Just let you be.
Yeah.
See, and I love that.
Yeah.
I love that because I see some relationships, sometimes people are just like, they want to be left alone for a minute, and then the other person will be like, you're talking to me, you're dealing with this right now, and it's like, dude, why would you want to deal with them when they're in that headspace? There's no reason for that. Why don't you give them a minute to think, so that no one says anything that they're going to regret later? Because anything that you say in anger, bro, you can't take that back. You cannot. Once it's out there, once you say, you can apologize all you want, but you fucking meant it. And it's hard. It's hard to really get people to think about that. I live in an apartment building. surrounded by other apartment buildings. I hear people arguing so often. And some of the bullshit arguments that they have over some dumb shit like
Yup.
dishes and cleaning. Like, you guys need
Yup.
to chill. It's not that serious. All right.
Yeah.
Why don't you do me a favor? Blow off some steam while you do the dishes. Try not to break something, and then come talk to me after that. Oh.
Hey guys,
Yeah.
wanna-
That's
I wanna-
up.
shut up. I want to bring something to you guys' attention. All right.
All right.
So
Shoot
shout
it.
out to everybody that voted on these posts. The millions of people. Don't look into it. So I asked, do long distance relationship work? So the odds were a landslide against you. 23% people said yes. 77 said no on Instagram. Shout out to all the people on Twitter and that retweeted us. Actually got quite a few votes. 30% said yes. 70% said no. So you guys are defying the odds according to people. And congratulations on that, dude. And you guys already know how I feel. I love both of you guys. And we can't wait to have you here again. You know, the whatever, your journey through engagement episode. And then the next one will be, having a baby, whatever it may be. We can't wait. Moving back to LA. All these episodes we're going to have you back for.
I'm
Looking
down.
forward to all that. Yeah.
Definitely down.
Yeah. And yeah, from the bottom of my heart, congratulations, guys. This shit isn't easy. I know firsthand. And yeah, you guys are an awesome success story. And I was serious about the people with diabetes. Turn away.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. I love it. I love it. Thank you, Eddie.
Thank you guys.
Yeah,
you.
so I can't very much say that I love you because we haven't gone on enough dates. So
Just say it.
I like
say
you
it.
guys. I like you guys.
We'll
You guys
see
are
how this
cool,
works.
all right?
This
But
is
maybe
all-
we need to go on a few more dates before I can get to that level.
it's a long distance.
I don't know, man.
Or
This is
maybe a
this is a
weekend at
long
Coachella
this
would
is
do it.
relationship starting. I mean, who
Maybe a weekend at
knows? I might just start texting Willis a lot more lately. You never know. I don't know, man. If they start opening up NFL stadiums, dude, I might hit you guys up. You know, I am a Niner fan.
Yes.
I gotta plug it. I am a Niner
Hey.
fan,
I am
so
super down,
it's
bro.
possible.
Super down.
It's possible. I'm gonna ask one last question, and then we can book it. And I just want a short answer, super short answer. Would you guys do it again?
Of course.
Attaboy.
Like if we had to do
Attaboy.
break up, like go do long distance, like as
If
of
you-
right
I'll
now.
give you a scenario. I'll give you a
Guys,
scenario.
Oh wait, do it again right now?
I'll give you a
If
scenario.
you had to leave right now for family emergency issues or whatnot, or if this never happened, would you do it again? Is this something that you would do for each other? You did it once. You said before that when you were thinking about, doing it earlier, you're like, oh, I wouldn't do this again. And that was early on in the relationship. How about now?
I wouldn't do it again in the beginning, but now
right
that
now.
I'm with her and I love her, I
Yeah.
would do it again if I had to. Not by choice, but if I had to, of course I would do it again.
I mean,
And on
I
that note,
yeah,
Oh, let Grace answer, you jerk. Don't
I'm
be a
sorry.
dick,
I'm sorry.
remember?
You're right. I'm sorry. I wanted to jump on his answer so bad. Go ahead, Grace. Go ahead.
He's excited. I think if we had to, then I guess I would. But I hope that will not happen because both of our licenses are in California.
Yeah.
So if we were to need to relocate for each other's jobs, it would just be within California. So like I'm down for going with him anywhere.
So on that note, I hope and pray that you guys never have to do it again. And I hope and pray that you guys don't ever have to be faced with that situation because you kids are doing it right now. You guys are a success story and I love it. And again, I want to thank you guys for coming on and sharing your story. Thank you, Eddie, always for putting this together. Shout out to Chewy. Shout out to Chewy for putting this all together, and super producer Chewy, Chuyaso, aka. Thank you very much, everybody, joining us at home for listening in. Eddie, where can they find you?
You can find me at Instagram as Eddie_Nags and Twitter Eddie Nags all together. And if I may, me and Willis, this gentleman right here, will be jumping on a charity game on my Twitch. It's
True.
twitch.tv / Eddie Nags. I don't usually talk about this, but it's for good cause. You know, it's going to be a charity
Let's do
game,
it.
relief for COVID. And to anyone that does listen to this, I know we didn't have too many today live, but no, true love does exist. It does not have any distance. Just because she doesn't live next door to you, he or she doesn't mean she's not out there somewhere, unless you tragically die. I'm just kidding. But thank you everyone for watching. Make sure to follow, subscribe, share. And we're this close. Look, we're this close. We're almost out. Stay at home. We're gonna be all right.
Yes.
Success.
Yeah.
All right, y'all.
Yes.
Thanks for having
you.
me.
Bye, guys.
Thank you so
Thank you
much,
for
guys.
watching.
Appreciate you guys.
No problem.